Time now for our roundtable discussion, and joining us this morning, Democratic political analyst Marianne Marsh and Republican analyst Ginny Buckingham. It's great to see you guys.
Good to see you.
All right, Suffolk County Sheriff Stephen Tompkins facing federal extortion charges after he was arrested in Florida. He's accused of extorting early stock options from a cannabis company. Reports say his office spent also, this is separate, tens of thousands of dollars on trips to places like the Bahamas and New Orleans and other places. Governor Healy has said she needs more information before calling for his resignation. Ginny, let's start with you. What more do you think she needs to know?
I can't imagine. It seems really clear cut. And even though everyone deserves their day in court, as does he's a law enforcement officer of this Commonwealth, and he can't stay, and she should know that.
What do you think, Marianne?
Ginny got one part of this right. Everyone deserves their day in court. If you're the governor of any state, weighing in on any case is a big deal. I know that's hard to imagine after 10 years of Donald Trump, but it is, and let alone a governor that's a former attorney general. So she wants a little more information or give this process a little bit more time. I think that's very fair.
The last time this happened, in fact, though, in 1994, the governor and the attorney general of two different parties joined forces and petitioned the SJC to remove a sheriff who had been indicted. So it's pretty obvious what the right thing to do is.
That's right,
here.
and his term is not up until 2028, and that's the process that would have to happen.
But it's hard to imagine, especially going at what we discussed here about the Boston City Councilor who left and all that. Sometimes just giving people the opportunity to do it and due process at a time when everything in the courts and all the laws are under threat, I think that's a fair thing to do.
Next item, the race for mayor of Boston. We have been stuck in ad wars between Mayor Michelle Wu and Josh Kraft, and it is heating up. The preliminary election now is less than a month away. The most recent Suffolk University Boston Globe poll has Mayor Wu with a sizable, commanding 30-point lead. Marianne, is now the time that people are starting to pay attention?
So 2 points. People pay attention all along the way. They paint a picture. So people are putting this picture together of the candidates. We're getting closer to the primary, closer to the general election. That picture is formed. And in the case of Josh Kraft, it is pretty late in the game because there's only 7% undecided in that very poll you cited. So that's one. Two, I saw a Josh Kraft ad recently. And he was sitting on a couch talking about his faith and why he spent his adult life working at the Boys and Girls Club. And I'm like, this is great. This is what we've been talking about. Exactly what you should do. And then he turns to, but they're building a white stadium for billionaires. And I listen, not lecture, and I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, he just needs to be better known and better liked. And I think if Rob were here, he'd call white stadium a niche issue and maybe lacks a little self-awareness about the claim he's making. But it's not helping him at this point, and it's hard to imagine him making much more progress as we get to the primary and the general.
It seems like too little, too late. Yes, people do pay more attention when summer is ending, but there's not a lot of time to make an impact. Also, just for the record, that David Ortiz ad, well, it's a great endorsement. That's the weirdest ad I've ever seen. So
the one with the animation.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. It's
the real one's good.
Yeah, but undermining like the point. It's like, what is
We're
that?
seeing a lot of digital ads out there, and on both in both camps for sure.
Yeah.
And Michelle Wu hasn't gone on TV yet. Josh Kraft has, and he needs to, but she's been all digital. He's been digital too, but I think that's an interesting strategy, and I got to believe there'll be like a tsunami of ads coming.
Can't wait.
Well, President Donald Trump is federalizing the Washington, D.C. police and will deploy the National Guard in the city. This will last 30 days. The president pointed to lawlessness in the city and included examples with ties to Massachusetts, examples including a Northeastern student who was assaulted and had worked in the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, and of course the deadly shooting of a UMass Amherst student interning on Capitol Hill. DC crime, it has dropped in recent years. It's still high, but Ginny, what is this actually about?
So I'm struck by two things. First, the mother of that UMass student was in the Globe on Friday saying this is exactly the right thing to do. This is our capital city. It should be safe for everyone. My son should be alive. I'm also struck by how the Democrats always get law enforcement, public safety, law and order wrong. Their first reaction is this is autocratic and taking over. No, this is about safety. This is about our capital city having policing enough, as their own mayor said. It's more police. I don't like the way he's doing it, but I'll take more police.
Is it about safety, Marianne? What is the goal here?
It's about martial law. And it's about Donald Trump imposing martial law, not only in Washington, D.C., but a string of cities he's already said he's going to: New York City, L.A., Oakland, Baltimore, and others. And he's going to use martial law, as he is now, to take Americans' rights away. He's either going to try to stop the 2026 midterm elections, or he will contest them. And I'm not going to be surprised if it's Boston. And this is not an emergency in Washington or anywhere else. He has claimed an emergency to be able to do this, and he needs to be stopped. And unless he is stopped, none of us are going to have any rights: freedom of speech, assembly, elections, none of it.
It's an emergency when 2 3-year-olds were killed sitting in their cars by drive-by shootings. That's an emergency.
Should he do this in red states?
I think he should do it anywhere it's needed, and the Democrats will say it's martial law.
It
the
is martial
Republicans,
law.
speaking about politics, will say it's because Democrats can't run a city. Which one will voters believe? I guess we'll find out.
Trump took $1 billion away from Washington, D.C., where the mayor there wants to hire more cops than everybody else, but he's taking everybody's rights away. And what he's doing, including the checkpoints he's doing with everyone, it's all illegal. He is breaking the law every minute of the day, and he is lawless.
He's giving law-abiding citizens their rights to walk the streets safely.
But they won't be able to vote.
Speaking of President Trump, he went after Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren in the Oval Office. Here's what he had to say. Listen.
She's a liar and a mean person. She's got to take a drug test. She really does. She's got to take a drug test. There's no way somebody can act that way and be normal.
The president's comments came as he was asked about the 90th anniversary of Social Security. That question was from a reporter on the right-wing media outlet. And since then, Senator Warren has posted on social media about the importance of Social Security. So, Ginny, first of all, your thoughts about this dialogue.
She's a meanie. I mean, that's childish, obviously. No one would accuse Donald Trump of being rigorous about sticking with his message, and this is just another example. She gets under his skin for whatever reason.
What do you think, Marianne?
It sounded like a confession more than an allegation, frankly. And she wrote that op-ed months ago at Fox and said they were taking benefits, Social Security benefits, away from people. And she's right. The phones are broken. No one can get their checks, go down the list. And they're going to, really take away the eligibility for many people. So she's not wrong.
We continue on the record. Stay with us.